Right now, no.
And I would say, why not?
Because I think, you know, the main concept, we get it. And it's probably would be a repetition in a different language. So I just thought that, you know, I may take it another time when I feel,
Good, I got that. Okay, so I got that. So the main concept, I want you to speak for yourself though, right?
I'm just talking
the main concept, I get it. You think the language is going to be the same, right?
No, I just said that there are basic concepts.
Yeah, basic concepts are the same.
Yes,
Got it.
so
hold on, let's leave it there, right?
yes.
So it's a good thing that we're not dealing with concepts in here. So what do you have every week? An assignment. So this is actually application in your life. Concept won't get you anything. The things that you have concepts on, those are good concepts. But I promise you haven't produced a breakthrough in that result. Now the things you've actually applied and discovered for yourself, that's where you produce the results. And that's what the seminar program is here for your ongoing training and development. Because I could give you a concept in like 5 minutes. Now, are you going to do anything with that? That's another question. So, and I'll also say, the conversations aren't the same.
No, I mean, I totally get it. Like, I may know things, but being in the process will intrigue me to take action on whatever I may know in my notes or whatever. So it's kind of pushes me to be more active and be more mindful of doing certain things. But sometimes I think I need a break. Like, it's been going on for some time, and I need to just...
I love the break word. Who needs a break in here? There's going to be a lot of hands. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but there's just no breaks in life.
I need a vacation.
Yeah. No, so thank you for saying what you're saying.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, and let me see what else I want to say about that. Not yet, Bonnie.
Are you waiting for me?
No, I'm just being with you.
Okay.
Yeah. You already had enough of that at the beginning of the session. There's an opportunity. Because if you're not expanding,
I'm shrinking?
yeah, you're contracting. It's like physics. You don't have to believe what I say. I just want you to look, take it on.
You know,
You don't even have to respond.
Okay.
Yeah. Just be with that. And we'll look and see, what are you taking on next? Okay, we'll talk more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's acknowledge it. So the point of me bringing her up was to find out, you know, what's the conversation that you are about taking on something new. And it's a conversation that has stopped you before. Whether it's I need a break, or, you know, I gotta go on vacation, I don't have time. Oh, what's that? Yeah. What, was this a question or
No, it's
offering something? Yeah, we-
is that it's not just knowing and looking over your notes, it's being it. And there's so much of a pull with our wiring to just kind of go back into reaction. You don't even know you're losing it, you know, until you can't seem to make something work later. So, you know, I feel like I can't leave any stone unturned when it comes to me being best possible me, you know, and so knowing is, you know, people say, you think I don't know? You know, knowing isn't the prize, it's being it. And you can't be it unless you're actually in action. And in this, we get action, whether you like it or not. But, you know, that's what we need, to go beyond that place where you always stop. And it looks different, and you're telling yourself something different, but it's the same old crap.
Yep.
Because it's been a long time since I've seen Sareba, and I was so glad to see her when we did bring the seminar again together. So, you know, I think we really need to continue.
Very good. Bonnie wants you in the seminar with her.
Yeah.
Hold on, Kathy, 1 second. So, yeah. Oh, dude, you read my mind. How did you know that? Wow. Classic. So, let's just clear one thing up, if in case anybody has this going on. The only thing I would get out of you registering to the next seminar is perhaps to see you again if you registered to the commitment seminar. Because that's the one I'm leading next, the commitment seminar. Other than that, there's nothing in this conversation that I get. This conversation is from a stand for you taking what you got in this seminar and expanding that. There's an environment out there. The environment outside of these walls does not call for your transformation. You get that? You're in here with the intention of living a transformed life. But the environment is not transformed out there. So it takes something from you. Read this one paragraph here. This is what the seminar program is. The purpose of the seminar program is to train, develop, and empower graduates of the Landmark Forum, so that's you, in living transformationally in an environment that doesn't recognize that transformation. To empower the graduates in expressing their stand for what's possible. To provide an environment where the graduates can take responsibility for the condition of life. You know that condition of life I'm talking about out there? You get to go out and be 100% responsible and create who you are, who you be, and create your environment in that condition. That's a big person. So to provide an environment where the graduates can take responsibility for the condition of life, the current condition of life, and in that space, be someone of real purpose, of true power, a human being who makes a difference. And that's why I have this conversation with you. Thanks. You want to add something? Yeah. Yep.
Taking responsibility for, what did you say again, for the current state of life?
The condition of life.
The condition of life. So in probably 2 seminars that I took ago, I stood up and said, I'm going to write a book. And when I give you this book, it's going to be like giving you a piece of my heart. And I did that because I said that in one of these seminars. Because I wanted to fulfill on that, because that's my word. You know, that's integrity. So I finished that book, and it was published during the seminar. And I just found out this week it's being translated in Japanese. And my commitment is to transform the food industry, and therefore the health and the future of the world. I'm taking on responsibility for that. I'm the one that's going to do that, not by myself. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do something about that. So that book happened. It's called Unstoppable, by the way. It's on Amazon, and I'm not trying to get you to buy it. I'm just saying it's out there. And I used a lot of the breakthroughs that I had in Landmark in that book. And so I would invite you to take the next seminar, not for fear of contracting, but for what you don't even know you're going to accomplish. Like, I didn't even know I was going to do that. You know, so there's stuff that is going to happen if you take the next seminar you can't even imagine right now. And so whatever that is that you want to create and you know, take on for yourself, for me, these are the tools that I use to be unstoppable in life. And it is happening. We are transforming the food industry. I could give you 20 examples of how chemicals are not being sprayed anymore, lawsuits are happening, GMOs, you know, genetically modified materials are not getting into food supplies. I mean, we are doing it. And so I just invite whatever area, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of areas in life that are not going so well right now. So as a Landmark graduate, I just invite you to please take some of those on and let's transform this world and have a world that works. That would be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So, you want to add to it? Yeah. Please, go ahead.
Hi. What's doing? You hear me?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can say it exactly as good as Zen did. But anyway, what I have found for me that I would encourage you guys to consider is that whenever I've said, I don't want to do that, I find that that's the thing I should do. And when I came out of my forum, the next seminar that was offered was a success seminar. And I didn't want to do it because I couldn't really relate to the concept of success. But I did it because it was the next one. And Brandon was the seminar leader. And I really had a hard time connecting to the subject matter and to Brandon in that seminar. And so when it was over, I was going to take a break. But the next seminar coming up was the breakthrough seminar. And my husband said, oh, that one looks really good, do it. And I said, I don't want to do it. I want to take a break. He said, you should do it. So I did it. And it was phenomenal. And I really fell in love with Fred, who was the leader of that. And I get so many, you know, just like Zen said, I mean, things that happened that I would have never even imagined in that breakthrough seminar. And then when that one ended, I was really excited about the relationship seminar, which was then going to come up because I wanted to do it with my husband. And then I found out Brandon was going to be the leader of that one. And I hadn't connected with him really well in the success seminar, and I thought, oh no, how can I do that? You know, how can I go into a relationship seminar when I don't really have a relationship, you know? So what big breakthrough I had was actually talking to him about, you know, my experience, and that I really wanted to do the seminar, but I felt like we needed a relationship, you know. And he said one thing to me. He said, do I remind you of somebody? And I couldn't really think of it at the time, and I couldn't really think about, that didn't come up. But I want to just say, and I want to acknowledge Brandon, because I found this seminar to be fabulous. And that Brandon, I mean, completely different than how I had experienced the success seminar. And I feel like I've gotten more of a voice in this seminar, and I haven't been afraid to speak up. And I've even with what happened last week, I went and talked to him. And I realized actually something about that whole interaction reminded me of something in the past. So to make a long story short, just sign up for the next one. One of them, do one of them. It doesn't matter whether you want to do it or not, just do one. I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to do one of the next couple of ones coming up. And I just think you need to just stay in the conversation. You just have to, or
Life
life
happens
will
really
happen,
quick.
yeah. Anyway, so thank you.
Awesome, Kathy, really great. Really. All right, so if you haven't registered, I'm going to give you about 5-10 minutes to do that if you want to do that now. If you have any questions, concerns, need to work out some dates or something, come talk to Ryan or I. And so we're going to give you about 5 to 10 minutes. If you've already registered or you know you're not going to do that right now, then continue to share with your partner either what you're getting out of the seminar or what are you taking on next. Okay? So I'll give you 5 or 10 minutes to get that done. We have tables in the back of the room.
Hello, it's everything borderline.
One of those times, bro. I know when I did that, I could do every time. No, one of a time, and you cannot leave alone. Take you to school.
I am
Oh, yeah, sure, that's
Okay, that one seems way more interesting to me. Mondays without the I have meetings on Mondays for communication. I already have an obligation. Do you think this would be helpful with my situation that I'm feeling?
No, Elaine was the one as the commitment seminar, first seminar we did. She was the production supervisor for Mr. Seminar.
This starts on. I have Thursday is fine because that's when all my classes are done. I have a whole week then to do
No, you know, because I was in a breakup and then I got back to you and it's lying and now it's great. So, no way.
I wish they had this one again.
Fraser, Elaine Fraser.
Oh, is she?
Baking, so what were you gonna ask, right? Like what matters, right? Very warm. And I think she's very that's something. You know, very sharp. Very sharp.
I saw you come in. No, I didn't say it. I saw you come in. I actually, I was kind of like, yeah, it's like, I do. There are.
I'm actually very serious.
I have a lot. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I shop there too. Yeah, I saw you. I was like, I didn't know that you lived down south. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask about China Fraser.
Oh, Elaine Fraser.
What's your favorite? It's there every Saturday.
Saturdays, so it's like, I made that commitment for myself in the forum, like, I'm gonna get more friends, I'm gonna do this, so I'm kind of like, but then Mondays I'm like, meetings and it's like, the days are like, okay, all the center, because I have meetings at 6:30. So let me, I'm at that,
starting on October 1st.
like, it's gonna be a meeting.
And it's on Monday night.
Monday? Oh.
No, and the other one is they take it to what?
I have stuff at another location, like, but I know.
So what is it like you have is it like the self-expression and
I know, but I gotta take action.
do something that takes up a lot of time before coming to
And it's like this, because I feel like I want to do something that I'm like super stoked about. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was this one again, I'd love it.
Maybe that's my problem.
Do you for these two programs?
but I think
Oh, you want like all the upcoming, yeah,
That would be cool, actually.
vacation
Yeah.
and stuff?
You feel me? I can't do that no matter what, because I just realized how good. You know how I am. I need to like think about things and then I'll do it. Oh, it took such a long time, but then it's like when I need it, I do it. Like she's been asking me to come to every single seminar. Do you want to come? Be a guest? Do you want to come? And I was just like, no, I have life. And then I had like some life event that happens. I'm like, no, I need this right now. I come at my own pace.
Like when the car breaks down, you think it's a mechanic?
Yeah.
Yeah, you try some maintenance.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Good maintenance, yeah.
I'm so tired. I think I'm on
Obviously it's dangerous stop. You're pushing too far. Okay, because I'm seeing the days and I have to think logically about my education and social life. I made a commitment in my form that I would go to these events that I neglected last year, which happens to be on Thursdays, and Monday I can't skip it. So I'm at a loss.
You are allowed to miss sessions. You just have to know, if you communicate that up front, then someone like you calls and retrieves you to see.
No, but I just feel like kind of like if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it.
No, I know, but it's like just one date that has to be somewhere on a Thursday. Don't throw out the whole.
I know it's gonna be like 5 Thursdays. That's my rule. And this was a big forum thing because I started like not going and doing stuff, and then I complained I don't have friends.
Okay, let's bring it back. Let's start coming back to our seats. All right, start coming back. Start coming back. Okay, come on back. If you're registering, just keep doing that.
Yes.
Okay. New conversation, you ready? Try that again. New conversation, you ready? Absolutely. All right, fantastic. Okay, so we have reviewed the work we've done in the seminar. We've looked at our accomplishments, right? So now the question is, what is the truth about relationships? What is the truth about relationships? When we began the seminar, we distinguished what's already there about relationships. Remember doing that? And what we got to was that relationships are hard. Okay, so after all the work we've done, you're now in a place where you can hear the truth about relationships. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so after all the work we've done, here's what's so. Relationships are hard work. But it's not a problem. It's not a problem that they take work. Remember, the context is decisive. Your context is decisive. When you stand inside the world of possibility, relationships are a created phenomenon, a caused phenomenon. Inside a context of possibility, the work of relationship is the work of design and commitment. It's not the work of fixing or changing or making it better, or struggle and effort. It is the work of maintaining a relationship such that the people in the relationship are touched, moved, and inspired. It's the ongoing work of completing the past as fast as you can. It's the work of allowing yourself to fail and restoring yourself to your creation and your commitments. It is in this work, coming from possibility, that relationships get forged. However, even in the world of relationships designed from possibility, there are still breakdowns. Always going to be breakdowns. And in fact, a successful, thriving relationship, one that lasts over time, could be viewed as a series of well-met breakdowns. You could view that. But how do we usually regard breakdowns? What do we say when we have a breakdown? Yeah. Darn, or maybe a little more nastier. Right? You know, this is a problem here. We think breakdowns are a problem, yeah? We avoid breakdowns. In our stories about our relationships, we hardly ever welcome breakdowns. It's a thing we just don't want any part of. We think that the perfect relationship should not, could not have breakdowns. Right? But the reality in the world of relationships is that there are many breakdowns. So that's just the first thing to get. In relationship, you're going to have breakdowns. So how are you going to view them? What would be a powerful context for dealing with breakdowns at the level of relationship? Partnership, good. Opportunities, yeah. Opportunities to what? Opportunities to recreate. Yeah, good. Yeah, Lee? Yeah, learning. Steve?
Nothing is wrong.
Nothing is wrong, great. Yep. Azila?
Understanding and
Growth, understanding. Yep, Eric?
Responsibility.
Responsibility, good. So a powerful context for breakdowns might be that breakdowns are an opening. Inside that context, one could see well-met breakdowns as a source of power. Really as an opportunity. Bring on the breakdowns. Inside that context, and given that breakdowns are inevitable, the most powerful way to deal with them is to welcome them. When we say welcome breakdowns, I don't mean you have to like them or you're in favor of them. It just means you don't resist them. You see them as an opening, as a pathway to powerful, fulfilling relationships. Your breakdowns would now be an opportunity to bring forth something in the relationship that is missing. Missing inside the possibility you are committed to for that relationship. So let's look at this. You have to separate breakdowns from the relationship. So, when you have a breakdown inside a relationship, it doesn't mean that the relationship itself is broken down. So, for example, suppose you have an argument around money. Who's had that argument before? Yep, very good. So that's a breakdown. But the breakdown is actually around your finances. It's not a breakdown in your relationship. However, it might have occurred for you like that before. But now this is a new context. So we tend to collapse every issue inside the relationship with the relationship itself. What we do then is work on the relationship rather than work on what the breakdown is actually about. Like go to work on our finances. So we're ingrained to deal with breakdowns as an individual. So then you have individual versus individual, thinking there's a breakdown, the relationship's broken down, trying to work it out. We're ingrained to deal with breakdowns like that. We approach our breakdowns from an individual self-interest. And of course, the experience always is that there's something wrong. So, dealing with breakdowns inside of the concerns of the relationship. So not as individuals, but the concerns of the relationship allows for breakdowns to be dealt with at the level of relationship, not at the level of individual. Then you would view the breakdown as something missing inside of the commitment of the relationship. Not as a sign that the relationship itself is breaking down. So I'm going to give you the steps to follow here. So if you want to write these down, this would be the thing to write down. And these are the steps to powerfully resolve a breakdown in a relationship that is designed for possibility. Need a pen? Okay, so first, declare the breakdown. That stops the action. And that looks like actually saying and declaring, I declare a breakdown here. Next, get clear about the breakdown. So what actually happened? What are the facts? When did the breakdown occur? Then take responsibility for the breakdown. Be that you are 100% responsible. Doesn't mean you're at fault. That's you being cause in the matter. Taking responsibility creates the space for you to invent a new realm of possibility. Then inside the new realm of possibility, invent newly the possibility of that relationship. Yeah. Taking responsibility creates the space for you to invent a new realm of possibility. And then inside of that new realm, invent newly the possibility of the relationship. So you're taking responsibility, then that creates a space for you to invent a new realm of possibility. For that relationship. And finally, you're going to enroll yourself and the other person in that possibility that you created. Enroll yourself and the other person in the possibility you created. Okay, so first you declare a breakdown, which stops the action. Then you get really clear on what the breakdown is, what happened, what are the facts, and you take responsibility for the breakdown inside of being 100% responsible, causing the matter. And then finally you enroll, or excuse me, when you take 100% responsibility, inside of that, that creates a space for you then to create a new realm of possibility for that relationship. And then you enroll yourself and the other person in that possibility. Doing this, if you do those steps, what will be there will be new actions for you to take. Right then and there. So you're dealing with the breakdown as relationship and from the future. Not as an individual or from the past. Okay, so following those breakdowns, or excuse me, following those steps allows for breakdowns to be met well. Okay, any questions about those steps? Okay, good. So who sees a new context that they would view breakdowns from now? Okay, let me hear from somebody. Well, hand goes down. Hands still go down so fast. We only got 30 minutes left. You might as well come on. Who wants to say the new context they created? Or how can breakdowns now be viewed? Looking for somebody. Somebody I haven't seen before around here? Okay, John? Yeah.
This isn't new for me, but it might be for some. In order to really have a breakthrough, you have to have a breakdown first. You have to break down what it is that is currently happening in order to break through to a new way of doing it.
Yeah, good. So in order to have a breakthrough, you have to have a breakdown first. So you're welcoming those breakdowns. Yeah. Great. Got that. Awesome. Somebody else? Not Lottie.
I started seeing that like maybe breakdown are a means to get to like a newer, sexier possibility. Like maybe this is the way we evolve this situation into something greater.
Yeah. Really good. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Okay. Yeah.
I always get excited from doing this work for so long. As soon as a breakdown occurs in my life, for some reason, I've convinced myself to get really excited because I know I'm about to experience a really amazing miracle.
Okay, so when you encounter breakdowns, you get excited.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't done that, but that sounds fun. All right, great. All right. Okay, so there's a final distinction of the seminar. You ready for the final distinction of the seminar? It creates magic in relationships, and that is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is an act of creation. There are any number of things you might say to acknowledge someone. The important thing is what you choose to say is a creative act. And since it's a creative act, your acknowledgement then says as much about you as it does about the person you're acknowledging. If you have a generous listening for someone, if you listen to them as a possibility, your acknowledgement creates the possibility for them. Acknowledgement is a great way to restore relationships. Acknowledgement is a great way to even create relationships. So, to complete our seminar, we're going to do an exercise very similar to the way we began the seminar, to complete the seminar. It's going to be a little different because we've been with each other for 3.5 months. But in a moment, I'm going to give you the opportunity to walk around the room and be with each other. This time, what you're going to do is acknowledge them. Each person you come across, you're going to acknowledge. So you're going to be with somebody for a moment or two. And then you're going to acknowledge them. Whatever's there for you to acknowledge them for. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do this. So really look and see what is there to acknowledge this person for. And I'll let you create that because it's a creative act. And see what comes up for you and how this is compared to the first